Senator Mike Parry, who is, by the way, a candidate for a congressional seat and a member of the state senate in Minnesota, is in a little spat with Mark Dayton over this unionization child care workers issue. Senator, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Well, hey, it's great to be with the chairman of Common Sense. I'm telling you what, that's what we need, not only in our state government, but in our federal government as well.
Well, what I try and do on this program is facilitate the input from a lot of good folks, yourself and others included as guests, and obviously the audience online and on air. There's a lot of common sense out there, but unfortunately it's not conveyed through our elected leaders. Mark Dayton being the latest example of this. First of all, just the whole idea. Mark Dayton and the idea of unionizing child care workers. Talk about how this started, and whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. I think you and I probably have pretty strong opinions on that. I'm not sure the way Mark Dayton has gone about this is the way to get it done. But where's the problem, first of all?
Well, I think most importantly, John, what we've been told is it's been something that's brewing for 4 or 5 years, that the unions have been talking with daycare providers. And over the course of time, those daycare providers, who are independent entrepreneurs working out of their homes for the most part, have said no, they want nothing to do with it, because they set their own hours, they set their own compensation, they set what it is they want, as long as they fall under the guidelines of how the state certifies our daycare providers, and that's what they want. They just want to be left alone. They're doing the right thing, but the unions have gone after them as a way to try to grab hold of 11,000 daycare providers and try to unionize them. Hence, the governor now has said, as we all know, authorized that executive order even after we had held not only the House, but the Senate took the lead, and we held committee meetings and had numerous testifiers. And those testifiers for the healthcare providers, for the most part, said no. We did find out through those meetings that those daycare providers who were for the union were also two of the key motivators behind this, were also being paid by the unions to move forward this. So when we asked the questions in committee hearings, Senator David Hennen and I, about how this was going to happen, who would pay dues, where would the dues come from, and is it true you were promising them better benefits, higher wages, and also did you also say that if by signing this card you would just be provided information? So we were asking all of these questions, and we could never get them answered by AFSCME or SEIU. And so there were so many things that were disheartening in this whole process that we were concerned. Well, the governor went ahead anyway and authorized the executive order, or issued an executive order. And it was at that point in time that Senator Hennen and I said that this is not right. The governor has no powers to issue an executive order of this kind, and so we met with our caucus in the Senate and decided that we were going to move forward in some legal action, which we have filed an amicus brief, a friend of the court, and we thank, I think it's Becky Swanson and their group for actually filing the case against the governor. And so first blush, when Judge Lindman took a look at it, he said, yes, there's some things here that would allow for a temporary restraining order to stop the child care provider unionization election, because we had to move quickly.
The judge basically sorted this out and said, look, this is the legislature's purview, not something that can be done by executive order. I still keep coming back to, I'm trying to understand what the problem is that he's trying to address. I get what he's doing. He's pandering to unions. That's what Mark Dayton would do and do well, and he's done that well. But what is the problem he's trying to fix? Why? What is the blinking light on the dashboard of child care in Minnesota that requires unionization of child care workers?
Well, and that's what we're really trying to get to the bottom of. You know, some that have wanted a union say they're not represented when it comes to things such as weekly child care benefit for those that are on the system. And I don't know if part of this was precipitated. I believe through this last budget cycle, the weekly allotted went from like $132 a week per child to $126 that the state would pay for someone that's on child care assistance to have their child looked after while they work. But I think what we're trying to figure out is why they don't feel that they're not represented. They have a senator, a couple of House members that represent them. They also have a family organization, which only charges, by the way, $35 a year to represent them at the legislature.
Not to mention what would, like your question, so, you know, who are you going to pay? What are the dues going to be? I mean, what's the benefit? These are not high-paying jobs, so that's an interesting take as well. Less than a minute left here, Senator, but I am curious about what you thought about being disinvited to that coffee after you suggested this was just a payback to union supporters.
Well, I tell you what, I found it interesting. However, I don't know if you've heard, the governor has changed his mind, and he does want to meet with me, and I will be having breakfast with him at the mansion Thursday morning at 8 a.m. We're going to try to bury the hatchet with the disagreements that he and I have to move this state forward. He accepted my invitation to do that, and we'll see what happens after Thursday.
You better invite the judge, too, because I think he's got a bigger beef with the judge right now who's said, wait a minute, this smells. Well, anyway, thanks for standing up for common sense. Appreciate the update. We'll continue to follow this hearing coming in January, so this one is not going away. We'll continue to follow it for you as well. We're going to talk to Bakken on the latest on the EPA fracking story next. Don't go.